What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to talk about the 10 most important teams right now in Marvel Strike Force. Ultimately, this isn't going to complete all the content, but it's going to be allowing you the opportunity here to actually gain access to, I would say, 90% of everything in the end game. So these are really the only 10 teams that should matter. And for the purpose of this video, because I know there's a lot of legendary Horseman teams, some mythic teams, including Super Skrull and Apocalypse, they have been ignored for the purpose of this video. So that way, for those of you that are newer to the game or mid-game transition end game, these are 10 teams that you should be on the lookout for. But we're also going to be talking about which ones are going to be on the way out. So that way, if you're watching this earlier, you know potentially that there might have to be some conservativity in terms of building up some of these teams, min-maxing them, so that way you're not over investing in some of these teams, especially given how fast the meta changes. So really my focus for the video, guys, is these 10 teams are going to allow you to unlock the majority of the content in being in raids, doing well in arena, dark dimension, and having a fair bit of synergy and value in both war and cosmic crucible. But for sure the emphasis is going to be on raids and as well as arena, because in my honest opinion, those are the two most important game modes in the game that can bring you a lot of rewards and push your game and elevate your roster in an expedited manner. So having said that, guys, let's get right to it. First and foremost, I'm just similar to the month before when I did this recap here. We're going to be starting off with the raid teams, because with raids, this is one of the only ways that you can actually gain access to Crimson Gear. And with Crimson Gear, that's going to give you the opportunity to push your characters to Gear Tier 19 and ultimately starting the Dark Dimension 7 progress. But as well, raids obviously being the most prominent, because there's actually just so much rewards day in, day out when you're actually doing it with your Alliance members. So make sure you guys are participating in the highest level of raids. So goes without saying, guys, the first team we're going to start off with, it's the Mystic section for raids typically, which is Bifrost. And as you can see on screen here, the nice thing is you don't actually need Bifrost built up that high. It's really Vol that's going to be the core and engine of this team. The rest of my team is only Gear Tier 15, and that's all they need to be at in order to gain access and complete all of the Incursion 2.3, which is the highest level of Incursion raids right now. And guys, honestly, the reason why I want to bring this to your attention is because they're probably going to be the next team out in terms of a new Mystic team coming. So if you're watching this video maybe a month or two from now, definitely revisit to see if there's a new Mystic team in the game, because ultimately they're going to be the next one heading out. So this may not even be relevant in the next month, but just be on the lookout for that. Val is still a great character, with her being an original strike character, but the rest of the other members not so much, because there's not as much value outside of the raid setting. Next, we have Pegasus here, and the nice thing about Pegasus is the fact that, Kestrel is still a mythic character, and the fact that she's needed in Dark Dimension. The rest of the Pegasus team is actually still really, really good, but as you can see, I would stop building them up at Gear Tier 16 or 17, depending on how you are doing in the Incursion 2.3 raids. I actually had them at Gear Tier 15 before, but the reason some of these members are built up was because we did have that escape from Kiln, I believe, where Pegasus was needed, so elevated a couple characters there and made it easier, but otherwise, you don't need to overinvest in Pegasus as well. Extreme X-Men, this one's interesting. They're obviously needed for the mutant raids, and this is the go-to team right now for especially Incursion in any of the mutant sections, and Extreme X-Men is a really good team all across the board. However, with the introduction of Old Man Logan now, Cyclops is the odd member that's out. So if you guys have Old Man Logan, I would actually swap out Cyclops for Old Man Logan, and otherwise Gambit, Nightcrawler, Forge, strong recommendations. I would recommend building them as high as you can, because they have value across the entire game, and knowing how important Xavier is going to be in 2025, I suspect that mutants, and generally some of the best mutants in Nightcrawler and Gambit, they're going to have value going forward, and the opportunity to synergize with a character like Forge, who can bring them back from the dead. So definitely something to be mindful of. I do believe that if there are going to be more mutants introduced, Sunspot's likely they're going to be the next character that's out as well, in addition to Cyclops. And then it goes without saying, obviously, Hive Mind's next here. And this is a very strong team as well, guys. They actually have value across the board. The only downside, obviously, is there's quite a few mixtures here in terms of the alien sport that's needed. The odd member out for this team anyways is actually Venom, because if you do have Super Skrull unlocked, Venom is actually the first one that I would replace. Actually, I do better with Super Skrull when I'm doing all three nodes here for the bio section for Incursion, so something to be mindful of. You can save a bit of resources there. Otherwise, I'm a big fan of Gwenum, Red Goblin, Goblin in addition to Void Knight. They have strong value in the different game modes, more so Gwenum and Void Knight, especially if you're planning to bring them into Dark Dimension. You know, they're going to have definitely value there, and especially Void Knight being use case in some situations in Arena, it's nice to have that synergy as well. And great to see that they're farmable. Okay, and then lastly, it goes without saying, Spider Society is one of the best teams right now in this list for the raids because of how new they are, but as well, the fact that they have dual synergy traits. They're a required team for the Spotlight raid, so obviously they're must-have. You are planning on doing the Alliance Spotlight raids that are new to the game, but as well, everyone was mainly rewarded with the 3 Diamond and Ghost Spider, so you're going to be getting a lot of value from Ghost Spider already. That's why I'm still tinkering around, seeing what works for going through the Spotlight raids, but I do plan on making min-max on the raid guides. Even at low levels, this team can actually get nodes 1 and 2 done easily. It's the boss node for the final skill that typically has some RNG, unless your teams are built up for that. But right now, they're doing just fine as they are, and I'm slowly working them up, especially with them being limited in farmability right now. Hopefully, they're going to be coming more to the game. And then next up, guys, I do have Tangle Web here. I believe strongly that they're still at the top or second best trio in the game, and the fact that there's obviously some value with Spider Weaver being an original character, you're going to need her up anyways for unlocking and fully upgrading Big Apocalypse. But well, Spider-Man Noir here is part of the Spider Society, so you're gonna get some value there. And then finally, we also have 2099 here, obviously being very strong. I brought him into Dark Dimension. He was great, but end of the day, it's up to you guys. I still think this 3-piece is really good in War and Crucible. They're just great to synergize, and the fact that they have the Spider-Verse tag, just lots of value there. And if you build them up, they're going to be giving you value throughout the entire game in all different game modes, especially in those pivot situations. And then we have the iconic Secret Defenders team. Honestly speaking, Robbie Reyes, Black Cat, and Miss Marvel Hardlight, although they have fallen out of the meta, they're still one of the strongest combinations that we've seen with a full piece team. I would say that Photon and Doctor Strange are probably the 2 members that you want to lean on ignoring, but otherwise, if you have those 3 for Arena, they're going to do exceptionally well. Photon's really good in War as well, guys, if you're heavy into that. I brought her into Dark Dimension. She was cheap. She's a bio character, and for Cosmic, it was great. But other than that, I would strongly recommend the other 3 just because they have much more value beyond just, Dark Dimension, and all across the board. This team is going to do very well, especially against some of the current meta teams. And then we're looking at some of the newest ones there that have stayed relevant. We have the Sinister 6, Superior 6 combination here. And many of these members are going to be coming into Dark Dimension 7 with me. So that's why some of them are built up, some aren't. But I'm slowly working them up along with all the new character additions and projects. But Vulture is a must-have. Kraven's great utility. Doc Ock, Green Goblin Classic, some of the best legendaries in the game. And then finally, we have Lizard being one of the tankiest members of this team as well. But you can mix and match here. The Sinister 6, Superior 6 has a lot of theory crafting aspect, but in my opinion, these are the 5 that I typically use. Mysterio is expensive, but he's also a great addition here too. Next up, we have Out of Time here. So Out of Time is interesting because we are now in a situation where we saw with Old Man Logan's event, Out of Time is not as required as we would think, right? Obviously, the main reason this is even on here is because Black Knight's one of the best characters in the game, and this is his team. Captain America and Carter likely would have been built up, but if you don't have them built up, it's not a big issue because this team doesn't need to be that high up to get Old Man Logan. If you guys have caught my difficulty 10, all packs activated, so next time Logan comes around, this is going to be the go-to team. The reason why this one's on the list and not Cabal is because of the fact that we can actually get a 5-star Logan actually on a higher difficulty with just this team, and you don't need Cabal. So this is probably the team I'm going to be focusing on when the Logan's event does return, and I'm going to be going for that 5 yellow. But other than that, guys, they're also the top War team right now, with the exception of obviously Merch for Money crushing them. But I mean, they're really good still. They're gonna have value, but I think I am gonna hold off on building them up just because War is not my focus. But with 3 out of these 5 members already built up from past value, you're gonna be finding immense situational value from these characters, especially given how powerful Black Knight is. And then lastly, guys, my final 10th team is Mercs for Money. Obviously, they're one of the best teams right now in the game, and it's single-handedly thanks to Old Man Logan. What he brings to the table as a character and legendary, absolutely astronomical. And the fact that Deathpool is also part of this team, and many folks already have Deathpool upgraded thanks to the building here a Big Apocalypse, I think it's great that you get the double dip on value there. Dawkin is going to take a little bit of time for myself, Deadpool and Pandapool, just because, again, War isn't my focus, and Old Man Logan already has provided so much value to my account. Definitely a strong focus. You guys unlock him. Make sure you gear him up because he's definitely a top 2, top 3 toon in the game right now since his release. And finally, this is the bonus team that I have on here, which is Alpha Flight, because we know with Sunfire and Wolverine getting reworked, they're going to be part of this new Alpha Flight team. They're required for Spotlight raids, but we don't know where they rank just yet. I just wanted to bring it to your attention because for the rest of this month anyways, we have North Star and Guardian, and we don't yet know how Sasquatch is going to be released, but we'll keep you guys up to date. There you guys have it. Those are, in my honest opinion, the 10 most important teams right now in the game that you should focus on if you just needed a quick cheat sheet here, because this is going to unlock you the majority of the content in the game. It's going to allow you to be competitive. And again, be on the watch here for Pegasus and Bifrost heading out because of the new raid teams typically staying only about less than a year. And we just want to be mindful of that, especially when we're saving our resources. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Let me know anything in the comments below. As always, thank you for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.